Statistics from the United Nations Children's Fund state that African youth are the least connected, with around 60% of them not online. While digital technology brings opportunities for learning and education to children, especially in remote regions, digital access is becoming the new dividing line, as millions of the children who could most benefit from digital technology are missing out.
The COVID-19 pandemic has taught everyone to treasure the little things and say they are the big things that we sometimes take for granted.
15-year-old Abdul Malik Husseini lives with his grandparents. With schools globally moving to online learning due to the global pandemic, he says studying alone was difficult, but with his tablet, headphones and notebook, he can now join classes virtually and continue learning.
So during the lockdown,
to these exhibits, which explores the whole essence of movement. We have that and more on our lineup today. A warm welcome to the show. I'm
I came up with the idea of creating things and coding. So having an opportunity like this.
Our spoken word today is titled Gazelle by Ndubisi Josiah in Kaduna, Nigeria.
To be sure that, I haven't
Gazelle, that's what I called out from my open pain. My heart raged after her, heart filled with love pains.
Margaret Okoye is 14 years old. She also says learning on her own was tasking, and not being physically in school made it more difficult to focus.
Inferno.
When I was
at the village square she grazes, softest of grasses she munches,
sometimes it was
brings of
feel
gold
like I was
clad
not
her
learning,
neck.
but when they give us the
Gazelle.
device,
In my forest
like
land she lives.
I'm busy with
Beauty
it.
brings out
So
her flute. Love choruses her
because
celestial.
I've been able to learn during
A clay pot perched on her head, her wriggling narrow waist.
According to UNICEF, digital divides also mirror prevailing economic gaps, amplifying the advantages of children from wealthier backgrounds and failing to deliver opportunities to the poorest and most disadvantaged children.
And pour at her feet. To taste her love,
to ensure that children in underserved communities continually have access to education in these times, Slum to School, a volunteer-driven development organization, through its virtual and cluster learning program, is ensuring that almost 1,000 youth are connected to remote learning.
One thing was giving them devices to learn, and that thing was monitoring to be sure that they were learning. And we wanted to be sure that they were also engaging. And so the next question was, how do we ensure
It's a
that
travel
we can
document that identifies an individual and with proper authorization allows people from one country to another.
So
That's what artists are exploring in the 10th edition of the Lagos Photo Festival.
We also wanted to have a physical engagement, almost like a pseudo classroom.
We set up this studio to ensure that children who were learning previously were not left behind because of the fact that schools were shut down.
This year the theme of the edition is passports,
so
you will see a lot of works that relate to the theme of cultural identity and to the theme of
the best solution.
How the possibility of
although there's been a gradual reopening of schools, especially for students in exiting classes, majority of the children are still at home. And as remote learning is fast becoming a norm, ensuring that no child is left out in the learning process is key, so that children like Malik and Margaret can fulfill their potential.
To be part of a country, or has it even a sense to be part of a country? Is that more important to be part of a community of like-minded people, for example?
This is the 10th edition of the Lagos Photo Festival. We've been doing this for 10 years now, so it's very surreal to see how it's evolved. And we're glad to be able to have the exhibition on Lagos Island. The theme of the festival is passports, and we are really interrogating the idea of borders and the idea of identity through a one-page document with your photo ID on it.
The idea is to unite global photographers by picking a topic every year which they try to do justice to by clicking to issues that address that subject.
I think the theme is really strong and relevant to the occasion, to the time that we are in right now, because we begin to interrogate the African identity, we begin to interrogate the idea of xenophobia, what it is to be a Nigerian or a Kenyan or a South African or even a European. I think the whole world is in a flux right now, and I think the theme really allows us to engage with some of these problematics. So I think it's a highlight too. The intellectual aspect of it is really quite interesting. We built the exhibition around the spine. Some of the ideas are global warming, climate change. We've all observed how, even living in Lagos, you can tell that the climate has changed a lot. And so I think there's an urgency to what we're doing. And these are some of the things you'll observe in the exhibition.
With their clicks, these creatives attempt to unravel the essence of having a passport and why it has been passed as a signature document for travel.
The theme passports resonates with a lot of the current geopolitical situation and how countries or nation states are bound and citizens are either given access or denied access to certain spaces, and that's what the passport really typifies or really exemplify or really harbor. And so the ideas of access and denial is some of the things that embodies the theme of the photo festival.
During a certain period of the year, there's what we call that's the rise in tide, and water will invade everybody's house, the streets and everywhere. So rainy season now, if you come to Bariga now, it's pure hell for the people. And this water does not ask for permission, does not need passports to come into the house. Now when AAF, got in touch with me to say the theme of this year's photo, Lagos photo is passports, and I read the curatorial notes, it just occurred to me that it could be a good metaphor, to capture the essence of migration. I'm an artist and I know what it means to move around. The worst thing that can happen to any artist is to be, inhibited, to be prevented from moving anywhere. To any human being, man is migratory by nature. But when people impose passport and visas and there are borders coming up in places and people are building walls in other places, the question of identity becomes a problem. And you're asking yourself, where do you want to call home? Your country or the place you want to run to?
And to drive this message home, a dramatic approach is taken. The Crown Troupe of Africa puts up a performance using the right props, luggages.
Migration, mental migration, movement suffocation. I really love Muslat from Morocco. I think his work resonates a lot with what we see in Lagos as well. The fake Gucci and like fake Nikes that we see on the streets. I think, everyone has their own identity. But yeah, it's been great so far.
I really like his style. I really particularly like this one because he looks like Pharaoh. He looks like a Pharaoh of Egypt sat amongst the ruins of his in front of his empire essentially, and he's proud, and it doesn't matter to him so much. He's still who he is regardless of whatever is surrounding him. That's what I like about it. It has a certain defiance, and I like a lot of the work because it's you can see pride and spirit within what he's doing.
The Lagos Photo Festival is one of the first international photography exhibitions in the country, which began in 2010.
Once upon a time, you could just pick up a bag and move, but now one has to be careful. No thanks to the COVID-19 pandemic, the numbers are still rising globally. So even if countries are opening their economies, don't throw caution to the wind. Better to stay safe and stay alive in order to appreciate the beauty all around us. And these are the works of art that made the cut for this week. Yes, that's what artists chose to celebrate this week, the beauty of womanhood. And let's begin with Adubi Makinde's work. He calls this one In All Her Glory. It's done with mixed media. Then this photography, done by Shedrack Salami, is called Nigerian Queen. Treasured is how Osegbede Art believes everyone should treat a woman with this pastel on card work. An African Girl is an acrylic on canvas work done by Wisdom Aruru. Lucky Best Art has this oil and canvas piece. While Ikechukwu Nadi has Portrait of a Lady, is done with pastel on paper. The blend are fabric collage works done by Faith Abandi. Astray is Oko Sisi's acrylic on canvas work. Then Damola has Cradle, done with acrylic on canvas. Then Ogini Ibikolua has this realistic drawing. He says DJ Copy is truly an inspiration in her generation. And those are the works of art you sent in this week. We do encourage you to keep them coming. Yes, women in all their glory, different shapes and sizes is what artists chose to explore this week to show that we should be appreciated and not abused. Now, let's take a moment. When Art House returns, some of your online creations, in fact, more of your online creations that you put up on social media. So join us again.
The people who dare to dream and dare to pursue their dreams are are the real game changers. Whether they failed or succeeded, at least they pursued what they believed in. Stories are not always innocent. They can be used to put you in the wrong crowd, in the party of the man who has come to dispossess you.
From spoken word to visual arts and even music, creators are having a blast putting their works of art on our various social media platforms.
I didn't see much on the day, just hands. My clothes were ripped and my dignity was stolen. There is no case. I can't make a case out of it. All I saw were hands, and this isn't evidence enough. I couldn't see their faces because I didn't look. I couldn't bear the pain of knowing who did it. I knew, but I like to tell myself I didn't see. I heard him, but I like to tell myself it wasn't him. I call him father. It can't be him who stole it. I call him uncle. It can't be him who ripped me open. It has happened many times and I only see hands. I can't say who has them even if I know. The evidence they presented is overwhelming. I can't build a case. They say they love me. They have proof, shelter, education, feeding. How can I build a case? All I saw were hands. All I saw that day were their hands.
Next week on Art House, we see more works of art done by creatives online. Plus, Shades of Life is a solo exhibition by contemporary artist Yemi Odetayo.
Shades of Life captures our day-to-day activities, the different things that people around me do.
We have that and more on the next episode of Art House.
Your Art House experience doesn't have to end when the show's not on television. Interact with us on any of our social media platforms. See any edition of Art House on Channels TV's YouTube page. Send your works of art to Art House on Channels Television by joining the group on Facebook. We are everywhere.
That's Art House this week. I appreciate you for spending time with us. I'm Melinda Akinlami. Stay creative and stay safe.